Call Bradley Exterminating in the Twin Cities area, 861-4161.
Faster than a speeding arrow, more powerful than a mule, able to cash any check from $1 to $100,000. It's a lark. It's a Piper Cub. It's Captain Money Express. Dedicated to helping you when you're in need of cash. Join Captain Money Express in his quest to help those in need of cashing any type of check, day or night, 7 days a week. Watch for the adventures of Captain Money Express. Coming soon. Money Express, 108 East Lake Street.
I'm Kirsten Lindquist with another moment in 11 country.
There are more than 600 miles of the Mississippi River to explore here in 11 country. The river is born out of Lake Itasca and winds its way down south. The Mississippi offers all kinds of water sports and boating fun and lots of spots for relaxing.
11 country, it's part of your life. Share it this summer.
There's something magic in 11 countries.
Burial in VA national cemeteries is open to most veterans and dependents. For information about these national shrines and other burial benefits, call the VA.
The following is a delayed broadcast of News 11, which aired earlier this evening. After the news, please stay tuned for Playhouse Theater, right here on TV 11.
From the action center of the Twin Cities, News 11 with Joan Steffen, Kevin McDowell, Randy Shaver on sports, and meteorologist Sally Patrick.
It was a sight few have seen, many will never forget.
Mother Nature being as awesome as we've had a chance to see, ripping up trees with a funnel cloud that lasted more than 20 minutes.
And this amazing phenomenon surprisingly did not cause any injuries. These pictures are courtesy of photographer Tom Empey and Sky 11 pilot Max Mesmer. Good evening. The night after the tornado was calm, a far cry from the situation just 24 hours ago.
It was a day people have been talking about and will talk about for days to come.
And in the days to come, they'll still be totaling up the damage. Fortunately, only dollar damage, not people damage. Right now, officials in Brooklyn Park, Fridley, and Coon Rapids say it might not be until Monday before the preliminary dollar estimates are out, and it could be in the millions of dollars, at least $1 million. As of right now, only 10 people are without phone service as a result of the storm, and all those people live in the Fridley area. As for power, tonight, NSP tells News 11 everyone whose power was knocked out has power back tonight. And the reason why the power is back on is because NSP worked all day to do it. These power lines were knocked out by the twister, damage you could actually see happening, courtesy of Sky 11. The tornado made mincemeat out of the power lines, and each time the power line went, you could see the sparks fly.
And besides NSP crews, many ordinary folks spent their Saturday cleaning up from yesterday's tornado. They found their yards littered with trees, and some found parts of their new homes reduced to splinters. News 11's Gail Plawacki leads a team report bringing us up to date on the cleanup in the Coon Rapids, Fridley area.
The beauty of yesterday's tornado was breathtaking, but today's cleanup seems overwhelming. One block of 84th Lane in Coon Rapids was the scene of one of the tornado's touchdowns. Tim Eifes lives in that block. He wasn't home yesterday when the twister ripped every tree from his yard, tossing several at his house. Today he's grateful for the helping hands as he clears the debris.
I got lots of help here, friends, relatives, people just passing by, volunteer to help. It's really nice. It's surprising how many people show up and just offer the services. It's a real outpouring of help.
Many people stop just to stare at the destruction before everything gets back to normal.
The residents of this Coon Rapids neighborhood hope to be cleaned up by later today, but they say that the memories of yesterday will last for a good long time. And they all seem to have come away from this experience with a new respect for the awesome power of Mother Nature.
Less than half a mile from this Coon Rapids neighborhood is the Springbrook Nature Center. Here, yesterday's tornado uprooted hundreds of trees and then tossed them about like toothpicks. Today, more than 700 people flocked to the center to see the devastation of 100 of the center's 130 acres. Trees cannot be rebuilt like houses, so yesterday's storm has changed this park forever.
What this did, which is an actual natural occurrence, is that the tornado eliminated a lot of the trees and will open up the canopy, and it will be interesting to see what kind of plants take over.
Susan Weesey has the story of the beginning of rebuilding of damaged houses in the Brooklyn Park area.
Our
Longnecker is trying to get rid of some of the grit and grime left by yesterday's tornado.
There was dirt just everywhere. I mean, it was just black in front of the house. You couldn't see out the windows, so I decided we're going to at least see out the windows.
Her house is one of 12 in this new housing development in Brooklyn Park that was damaged by the twister. It flattened this home under construction, yet left Twins outfielder Kirby Puckett's house unscathed. The same twister smashed just about every window in the Simbox home. Ron and Mary Beth moved into this house 6 weeks ago. Now, with a lot of back-breaking work, the house might feel new again.
It could have been worse, and yet it doesn't make the hurt any less when you come in and see all the dirt and the destruction.
All along, homeowners and builders here planned on spending this weekend sprucing up the neighborhood for next week's tour of homes. Now the traffic's arriving early to look at not human, but nature's handiwork. Susan Wiese, News 11, Brooklyn Park.
And once again, the amazing part of all of this is that no one was injured by the twister. The only 2 people hurt were struck by lightning, and they weren't hurt seriously.
Now, this twister sent thrill seekers out of their homes with their cameras clicking and their videotape cameras rolling. Tonight, News 11's Dennis Stauffer talks with some of those folks who will now have a little piece of history with them always.
These are the pictures that got everyone's attention, but News 11 wasn't the only one with a camera on this tornado. Shutters were clicking for miles all around the storm. They were clicking in Spring Lake Park, where Mike Peterson took these home movies. They were clicking in Brooklyn Park, where Dave Brevich took these Polaroids. And they were clicking just a few blocks from the funnel when Barb Snow and her fiancé, Jeff Gagnon, ran outside to take these.
I mean, it's crazy. It's a tornado. You should run, for the basement, but yeah, it didn't seem that scary.
In fact, photo developers at Brooklyn Center say 3/4 of their business today was tornado pictures.
A lot of customers have shared their, prints with us when they pick up their orders, and so it's been kind of exciting for everybody all day today.
ProX Photos shut down along with all the rest of the mall during the storm, but when they reopened,
there was already a line before we opened up of people waiting to have their tornado pictures developed.
Developers say some people are already coming back for enlargements of what may be the most photographed storm ever. News 11 may have wonderful video of this tornado, but hundreds, perhaps thousands of residents all across the northern suburbs have souvenirs of their own. Dennis Stauffer, News 11.
Now, along that note, we have been literally flooded with hundreds of requests from people wanting tape of that dramatic footage from yesterday's tornado. On the News 11 Extra tonight, we'll give that opportunity to you by putting together 5 minutes worth of the most dramatic footage from the twister put together by photographer Tom Empey, who shot the pictures from Sky 11, piloted by Max Mesmer.
And coming up, a Gopher basketball player testifies in the rape trial of 3 of his former teammates.
Also, we'll wrap up our series, Broken Arrows, Broken Dreams.
And a special day for the daughter of the late JFK when we come right back.
It's Dial a Joke with new joke every day. 59 cents a call. 1-976-1234. That's 1-976-1234. Kids, don't call without permission.
When you were 6 years old, you knew exactly what you wanted to be. Now that you're grown up, you're not so sure. Or you got a degree in social work to serve others, but not hamburgers. Or you're 35 years old at the top of the pay scale and barely making rent. Chart can help. We'll help you look at career options open to you, set goals, and be whatever you want to be. If you're a woman who needs career or employment direction, call Chart at 871-9100.
Do you have persistent joint pain? If so, you may be suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. Its symptoms are pain and swelling in more than one joint on both sides of the body, stiffness in the morning, and weight loss and fatigue. If you've had these symptoms for 6 weeks or more, see your doctor or the nearest office of your Arthritis Foundation.
A U of M basketball player today testified at the rape trial of 3 of his former teammates. The 3 are accused of raping an 18-year-old Madison woman following the Wisconsin-Minnesota basketball game. News 11's Bernie Grace is in Madison and has this report.
A U of M basketball player says he went from his third-floor hotel room next door to where the alleged rape occurred. He was looking for another woman. He didn't find her. What George Woods did find, though, were 3 of his teammates and a woman, all naked.
What was George Williams doing?
He was having sex with the female.
He was having sex with the female?
Yes.
And he was on his knees?
Well, from behind.
He's on his knees from behind the female having sex?
Yeah.
But in their questioning, defense attorneys wasted no time in asking whether the woman was being held down.
You didn't hear anybody crying, did you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't hear anybody yelling, did you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't hear anybody asking for help, did you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see anybody holding this woman down, did you?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Also testifying, David Waugh, who partied with the alleged victim prior to her going to the hotel room. Waugh said the woman danced with one of the ball players, but it was hard to see what was going on.
Because the lights were off in the whole apartment, and then there was a stereo going, and the only light was from the stereo.
Another woman at the party said she saw the alleged victim sitting in the lap of a ball player. The defense, through its questioning, is trying to show the woman went willingly to the hotel and consented to having sex. The prosecution's expected to wrap up its side of the case on Monday, what it calls the last of its witnesses. Then it'll be the turn of the defense to present its version of what happened here in Madison in the early morning hours of January 24th. In Madison, Bertie Grace, News 11.
One man is in custody tonight following his arrest for murder in Stearns County. Yesterday, 34-year-old Paul Dingham was found dead of an apparent gunshot wound. Police say Stephen Notch will be charged Monday with second-degree murder. The investigation into the case continues. In another murder, this one in Minneapolis, a 67-year-old North Minneapolis woman found stabbed to death yesterday has been identified. Dora Donnell, who lived at Thomas Avenue, was found at about 4 o'clock by family members. Police say a suspect is in custody tonight, but they refuse to comment further.
The drought and heat continues to singe the South, and that story tops Datelines. In South Carolina, the military was used to help bring in more than 1,000 bales of hay donated by Illinois farmers so cattle can be fed. The giveaway brought out lines of farmers, but the relief is only temporary. Some farmers say without rain, they'll lose their cattle. In Philadelphia, 2,400 sanitation workers began the task of cleaning up the 40,000 tons of garbage that's piled up over the last 18 days. The workers were ordered back to work by a federal court judge. Some didn't mind, with one even giving a thumbs-up sign. And in Cape Cod, Carolyn Kennedy, the daughter of the late President John F. Kennedy, was married to New York businessman Edwin Schlossberg today. All the Kennedy names were there, including Jackie Onassis and Joan Kennedy. After the ceremony, a little kiss for the photographers and away for the honeymoon. They didn't kiss the photographers, they kissed each other for the photographers.
Got it.
Yeah, okay.
Sally Patrick joins us now with the weather. Listen, what's been happening in weather lately?
It was nice today.
Any activity?
Certainly. As opposed
Low
to
key.
yesterday. It was good for the parade, which I was in. That's why it was nice. The rain cleared out. I want to thank all the nice folks out there. A lot of nice response to our tornado coverage. Said we did a good job. And
But
we
they all
certainly-
wanted Max, right?
That's right. They all wanted Max. They said, "Where is Max?"
Maybe
Max
Wednesday.
is taking a well-deserved rest. Let's take a look at what did happen today. The high today was in the 80s, and it was much less humid than it was yesterday. 85 degrees, 69, a little over a half inch of precipitation. That was overnight with some other thunder showers that came through during the nighttime hours. Right now, 73 degrees, and we have clear skies, a northwest wind. The dew point now stands at 58, and the pressure is rising under fair high pressure. I'd like to show you some footage that you have already seen, but we're going to look at it in a different light. Look at this. Look at the top of the screen. You'll see the funnel cloud. Notice between the funnel cloud and the ground, you don't see too much but some debris flying around. This is what we call an invisible vortex. That tornado is touching the ground, as you can tell by the debris that's flying up around it. But this happens quite often. Things that appear just to be a funnel cloud are actually touching the ground and producing damage. That's why when you do see a funnel cloud, you want to take cover, and there you can see it on the ground. What we're looking at right here are pictures by Regina McComb, pictures you have not seen before. This is the tornado as it's going back up into the cloud. Notice how skinny it's getting as it goes back up into the cloud. That's what we call the rope stage of a tornado, when it becomes very skinny and its tilt increases with respect to the ground, and that's one of the latter stages of a tornado. Very common. Let's take a look now and see what happened. Why did we have a tornado yesterday? What did we have yesterday that we didn't have the previous days? Well, what you need for a tornado is high temperatures. Yesterday the high was 92 degrees. That's certainly warm enough. A lot of moisture in the air, and that was indicated by a dew point in the upper 70s, something you rarely see in this portion of the country. So we have the heat and the humidity, but that alone won't give you a severe thunderstorm. You need to pick that heat and moisture up and churn it around a little bit. What did that was a stationary front and low pressure riding along that front, picking up the moisture, turning it around, and that's why we got this severe thunderstorm just to the northwest of the cities. This tornado had some characteristics to it. It skipped around a little bit, and that is not uncommon in tornadoes. It picks up and comes back down, so when you do see it pick up, you can't guarantee that it won't come back down. You should still take cover. It lasted about 33 minutes. That's just about double the average time that a tornado stays on the ground, the average time being 15 minutes. There was no sound reported by some folks. They said the tornado just hit. There was no sound at all, no rain. I've had a lot of people ask, don't you always have heavy rain, hail, and a loud noise such as a train? No, not always. There are no rules with tornadoes. They can just hit out of nowhere, and that's what this one did yesterday. Well, that's the look at the tornado, and I hope you have pointed out some interesting characteristics of it. It's all gone now, and it left us with really a gorgeous day and a great day to get out and view the parade earlier today. I hope you got out and did that. Right now we have fair skies, just a few clouds to the north. I think we'll be seeing those tomorrow morning. As far as the heavy thunderstorms, if you were wondering, what we had yesterday is now in southeastern Wisconsin and also Michigan, and it is way away from us. High pressure will be building in, and we have a nice forecast coming up. I'll show it to you right after this.
What a bedroom man?
Well, yes,
Hey, no, it's what a bedroom man.
Gosh, fellas, I'm so embarrassed.
So, where do you want this truck?
But we don't have any room. Announcing our giant truckload sale. During my Water Bedroom Superstore's gigantic truckload sale, you can save big throughout our stores. Take home the Dream Flight for $5.99 or the Misty Morning for just $3.99. Fly to the Water Bedroom Superstore during my giant truckload sale.
We're off the ice and hitting the road with Multiple Sclerosis Society's River Road Run.
Most importantly, we're riding these
to keep people out of these.
Join us September 6th and 7th for a beautiful 1,000K cycle trip along the Mississippi and Wisconsin rivers.
Proceeds from the River Road Run will help fight multiple sclerosis.
Call 870-1500 or 1-800-528-5296 for more information.
Now that all the nasty weather is gone, we have some real nice weather coming up, and it's just in time for the rest of the weekend. I think you'll like it. Here's the forecast for tonight. Much more comfortable for sleeping. Temperatures going down to around 60, possibly upper 50s, under fair skies and a northwest wind. And then for Sunday, I think we'll see some clouds in the morning, afternoon sunshine, 78 degrees the high, low humidity. It looks great for getting outdoors. How about Monday? There is a chance of showers and thunderstorms, high of 78. Tuesday, though, sunshine, 81 degrees, and Wednesday also sunshine, 85 degrees. One thing I do want to mention as you're watching the tornado footage that we're going to show you a little later on in the show, watch for little mini tornadoes rotating around a common center in this thing. Very unusual, and good footage of it.
It is very unusual.
We were talking earlier, first of all, they usually land in rural areas, so people really see them. Thousands of people saw them yesterday.
That's incredible.
In person.
And the conditions were perfect, no rain, and the funnel cloud was very well defined to photograph. Very unusual.
And no injuries.
And
that's
no
great.
injuries, no.
Okay, thank you, Sally. Well, today's bright blue skies were filled with frisbees at Lake Nokomis today. The Land of 10,000 Lakes played host to the Sky of 10,000 Frisbees tournament, a chance for the hottest hot dogs from the professional frisbee circuit to flaunt their proficiency. This year, the annual Aquatennial event also doubled as the U.S. Championships. And another Aquatennial tradition that always packs in the crowds didn't disappoint this year. The annual Aquatennial Grand Day Parade marched through Parade Stadium and on to downtown Minneapolis today. And if folks on the street or on the sidelines thought the weather was a bit too steamy, we didn't hear about it. Most of the News 11 crew was on hand, a chance to thank the News 11 viewers, and of course, every band was a winner.
Hello there, sweetheart. You too can be a star of the movies by playing Dial Screen Test.
Just dial 1-976-1111.
You'll correctly knock out 3 trivia questions about the movies and win a free pass to a theater near you. Absolutely.
It's just 55 cents per call, and you must use a touch-tone phone.
Well, now anyone can be a screen star. Just win Dial Info Screen Test.
Just dial 1-976-1111.
The strongest, the fastest, the best.
We put them all on pedestals and create the illusion that winning is everything. But one group of athletes still remembers what sports are all about. They train all year long, and their victories aren't measured by how far they go, but by how far they've come. The Minnesota Special Olympics. Every effort is a victory.
For the past week on our series Broken Arrows, Broken Dreams, we've looked at life on the Red Lake Indian Reservation, a glimpse of what few outsiders get to see.
Tonight, Paul Majors brings us the final part of his series and takes a look at a man who is part of a fascinating past and a vital part of the tribe's future.
There, that's the size of it.
Dan Needham has proudly lived a full 90 years on the Red Lake Reservation. His music tells of his history as hereditary chief of the Red Lake Nation. His weathered hands help pass on the knowledge of his 90 years.
Must get it real tight.
His artistry tells of his heritage. It's a fitting reflection of Dan Needham's spirit that he still carves the peace pipes of his ancestors, a reflection of his cherished ties to the past.
We shouldn't lose that heritage, you know. We shouldn't lose our heritage. And we shouldn't lose our traditions, especially our Indian crafts.
And it's that heritage that this dignified keeper of the culture treasures most. He has, after all, seen a century turn, watched other Indian nations sell off their lands, while the Red Lake Band holds on to what is still theirs. He's watched the world change in ways we can only imagine.
Okay, I guess I don't need my cane.
Dan Needham still walks the gravel roads of Red Lake, looking at what has always been a nation within a nation, and carrying one simple wish.
But the main thing is to live in peace with one another, with all nationalities. No more prejudice against blacks, Indians. We were all made by God to be on this earth, and I believe in human rights.
As we've seen during this series, Red Lake is a place with many problems, but also a place with good things to offer as well. Good things like the wisdom and friendship of people like Dan Needham.
And we might add, we'd like to give credit to Chris Wheeler, the photographer who worked on this series. He did a fine job.
Excellent.
Coming up, a former twin gets arrested but is out on bail tonight.
And the Twins commit an on-the-field crime tonight in Baltimore. Randy Shaver with sports coming up.
Hi, Jerry Burkhart, owner of Waterbed Warehouses. At Waterbed Warehouses, you still pay less, a lot less. And here's another great example. One of our most popular selling bookcase beds with a full set of 6 drawers, waveless mattress, mattress pad, full set of sheets, and padded rails. $249. Remember, Waterbed Warehouses. We've been here and we're going to be here. If you'd like to know more, call the store, 379-0504.
Hello, I'm Smokey Bear, and these little fellows are gummy bears. We care about the forest and its creatures. But sometimes people get careless with fire, and our forest is destroyed. Please help old Smokey and the gummy bears. Be careful with fire. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
A story to inspire greed tonight from Canterbury Downs. Charles Navratil from St. Louis Park bought one Pick 6 ticket for $2. And when it was all said and done, he was the only winner, raking in, get this, more than $60,000. I'd take less than $60,000.
Married to my first cousin.
Yeah, Randy is nicer related.
Which would make me about half.
Turning just a little green over there. Green with envy
Give me
over
about
there.
half of that money, I would think.
You won practically everything you've ever bet, 60,000.
That's about right. I about own half that track out there by now. Well, we're going to talk about baseball. Back on July 6th, Neil Heaton got beat by Baltimore 1-0. Kent Herbeck at that time said if Heaton ever pitched like that again and lost 1-0, he'd fork over his paycheck. Guess what? Neil Heaton pitched against Baltimore tonight. The Orioles scored 1 run, and Kent Herbeck is out a paycheck. The final was 1-zip Orioles. Heaton goes the distance and loses. He deserved a better fate. He gave up only 5 hits tonight, but this was a big one coming up in the 2nd inning. Rick Dempsey, and it is good, gone, home run. Dempsey, 1-0 Orioles. That would turn out to be the game winner tonight. Now, Heaton really has pitched well. His ERA is the best on the staff as far as starters go. 5 strikeouts tonight and 1 walk. The Twins did have their chances in the 7th inning. Men at first and second, 1 out, but guess what? Gaetti, 6-4-3, double play for the Orioles. Twins left 9 runners on base. They lose the ball game 1-0. Same 2 teams tomorrow afternoon. Let's check the scores now. California beat Toronto today 9-3, and Detroit in 12 innings over Texas tonight. The Angels jumped all over Dave Stieb of Toronto early. Watch this. First pitch to Rupert Jones inside the foul pole home run. Jones had 2 homers today. Errors killed Toronto. Willie Upshaw at first base. Watch this. Whoops, right between the legs. 2-run score. Angels win easily 9-3 over the Blue Jays. Dave Stieb's record now is 2-10. Cleveland beat Kansas City 6-4. Roger Clemens pitching for Boston tonight, leading Seattle 5-1 in the 4th. Oakland beat Milwaukee 3-2, and the White Sox over the Yankees 8-3. Bad base running by New York was typical today. Willie Randolph grounds out to third. Mike Pagliarulo at third base decides too late to go for home. He's cut down for the double play. Watch owner George Steinbrenner's reaction to this play in the booth. First he thinks it's a base hit. Nope. Now it's a double play. Look at George. He can't believe it. And the Yankees lose it. The final was 8-3. Former Twin Tim Tuffle and 3 other New York Mets players were arrested early this morning in Houston. Tuffle was charged with aggravated assault after he allegedly got into a scuffle with a police officer. The incident occurred at a bar in Houston. All 4 players were back on the field tonight, though, out on bail, $800 apiece. Tuffle will be arraigned tomorrow. No other information than that. The Mets players, Tuffle's, pitchers Ron Darling, Bob Ojeda, and Rick Aguilera were told not to talk to the press. The Mets right now are deadlocked 4-4 with Houston in the 9th. The Cubs beat San Francisco 11-6. If the Mets win, they're tied for first in the West. Cincinnati beat Philadelphia. St. Louis 2-1 over the Dodgers. Pittsburgh beat San Diego, and Atlanta over Montreal. After 3 rounds of the British Open golf tournament, Australian Greg Norman is still holding on to a 1-stroke lead. He shot a 63 yesterday, a 74 today. Look at that rough. From one rough to another, the Turnberry course did get the upper hand on the Aussie today, but he is holding on. Look at this now. Japan's Tommy Nakajima. That thing is knee-high. That is the rough at Turnberry, 18th hole. Now watch the ball hit the side of the green. Now keep an eye on this ball. It's going to head right back towards the cup. Nakajima shot a 71 today. He has one shot back. Final round of the British Open is tomorrow. Finally, I got a great idea for you. If you want a little action in your life tomorrow, and darn it, I wish I could show it to you. Some rodeo video. The Buffalo Rodeo is going on. Tomorrow is the last one at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So if you want to see some roping and some steering and that kind of stuff.
That's a real big rodeo.
It is a big rodeo. It's been going on for 3 days. Tomorrow's the final day.
Okay, thanks, Randy.
You bet.
Coming up, another look at yesterday's Twister.
That's right. We'll relive some of the dramatic moments from Sky 11, piloted by Max Mesmer and photographed by Tom Edward.
We dare you to call Horror Line, 1-976-4242. That's 1-976-4242. Kids, don't call without permission.
Today, our water is in danger. We can't see it or taste it, but America's groundwater is being contaminated by chemicals, fertilizers, and household trash buried in landfills. Before you put anything in the ground, ask yourself if you want it in the water that you drink. To protect your groundwater and your health, call 1-800-882-8289 for a free groundwater information packet.
Do you have persistent joint pain? If so, you may be suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. Its symptoms are pain and swelling in more than one joint on both sides of the body, stiffness in the morning, and weight loss and fatigue. If you've had these symptoms for 6 weeks or more, see your doctor or the nearest office of your Arthritis Foundation.
Tonight on the News 11 Extra, now we have literally been flooded with hundreds of requests to repeat the footage of yesterday's tornado.
Most of the video you are about to see was shot by News 11 photographer Tom Empey, with some of the other footage shot by you folks.
So we let Tom put together this piece from yesterday's Twister, and we're going to leave you with it.
Thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
This is spectacular. This is spectacular. We have to breathe thousands of feet in the air.